Welcome back to the 9th Gym program, and today we are continuing the restricted Pokemon guide series with Mewtwo. Mewtwo is one of the pretty strong Pokemon that were added in with the restricted legendary package. It's not a top tier pick right now just because it's walled out pretty easily by Zacian and a bunch of really good dark Pokemon in the format, things like Galarian Moltres, you have Veltal, Urshifu. There's a lot of really good stuff that counters Mewtwo, so if you do actually opt to go for a Mewtwo team, make sure to have answers for those Pokemon. We'll talk about that a little bit more later. But yeah, Mewtwo is very strong, but just it's not in a great position in this format, and that's really what it's held back by. But we'll talk about that, and we'll try to fix that up. So, overall, Mewtwo is really solid. I mean, look at the special attack stat. It's absolutely insane, 154, and then the speed stat at 130. It's pretty obvious what stats you're going to be leaning into with this Pokemon. Since it has pretty meager bulk, you're going to be really just focusing on that special attack and speed, being a very strong Dynamax sweeper, most likely. You also have things like Choice Scarf, on the ground with Expanding Force next to Indeedee. So there's a lot of options for Mewtwo to be really cool and do some really interesting stuff. And yeah, we're going to talk about it. Mono Psychic type is not that great right now. Like I was saying, its weaknesses are very big and prevalent. You have a lot of good dark Pokemon. You have good ghost Pokemon. Steel is pretty good in the format, which Mewtwo just doesn't really have much great things for it. Obviously, you can get Focus Blast or Fire Blast or Flamethrower, but you really have to lean into something to do that. And Zacian's so fast in this format, and typically, on a team with Tailwind. So Zacian, once again, is going to be the big weakness of this Pokemon, which sucks because Zacian's just everywhere, so that really holds back Mewtwo. But it's fine. Psychic typing, could be worse, but yeah, Steel Pokemon were always kind of the bane of these Psychic Pokemon in these formats. Things like last format or a few formats ago, we had Psyspam with Hatterene. Indeed, that kind of gotten destroyed by things like Ferrothorn, and Magnezone even was good. So yeah, it's kind of in a weird position right now. Unnerve is also just not that great of an ability. I really wish this Pokemon had some really cool ability, but Unnerve just is not really that good. Being able to lower, or being able to, hold your opponent from using berries is good, but it's not incredible. And its other ability, Pressure, is also, once again, just not incredible. It doesn't really do that much. So we're going with Unnerve, but it is what it is. Anyway, that is it for the overview. Let's go ahead and talk about the build. So the build is incredibly standard, but it is highly customizable, so that's fine. We have a lot of different things that we can customize this Pokemon with, and a lot of really good Pokemon that we can pair it with, and a lot of good Pokemon that we can use to beat the scary Pokemon in the format. So Mewtwo is not bad. It also has a lot of moves that it can learn, so you can definitely change this. Like I said, it's very customizable, so you can customize this a lot. But the build is going to be pretty standard, or the spread, just 4 into HP, 252 into special attack and speed, and then Timid Nature, just to be as fast as possible while doing a lot of damage. It's very standard, but that's really all Mewtwo wants to do. Since it doesn't have great bulk, I mean, you could go with an Assault Vest bulky build, which is an option, but it's not what I'm going for today. So yeah, Life Orb, sweep, that's it. Life Orb for the item is going to be really good. You can change that up some. Like I said, Choice Scarf on the ground builds could be good without Dynamaxing. You focusing more on Expanding Force with the Indeedee could be a really good option. But you also have things like Assault Vest Bulk or even Focus Sash that are just a lot of good options for the item. So you don't have to go Life Orb, but I do like Life Orb, and it really pushes the calcs just into fruition for Mewtwo. I mean, every single calc that I was doing was just like, wow, and it was very, very, useful. The Life Orb really put that into play. The ability, Unnerve, like I said, it's not super good or anything, but it's better than Pressure, so we're using it. As far as the moves go, I went for Expanding Force for our stab move. This could be something like Psystrike if you want to. Psystrike is really cool. It hits for the, what does it do? Oh, it hits defense instead of special defense. So depending on the team and how your team comp is, if you have a lot of special attacking Pokemon, you can definitely go for Psystrike, and it's a not bad option at all. It's actually very solid. Expanding Force does do a little bit less damage, so you are going to actually be doing 10 less BP, but I think it's worth it because once you are not Dynamax, or if you want Dynamax a different Pokemon in that game, you have Expanding Force with Indeedee, and it's incredible. Or you can even max, max Mindstorm, and if you live with if the Mewtwo lives, which is kind of unlikely, but if it does, you have Expanding Force on the ground afterwards, and it's huge. Like, Expanding Force is just really, really powerful. Next, we went with Hurricane. Having that Max Airstream ability, being able to have a little bit of speed control on the Mewtwo is very, very strong. Life Orb Hurricane or Life Orb Max Airstream takes huge knockouts on a lot of Pokemon. Rillaboom, Amoonguss, Venusaur, as long as no Koba Berry or Focus Sash is there. It's very solid. Max Airstream is great. Speed control is really good. Next, we have Ice Beam. Once again, being able to hit those grass Pokemon is cool. We're not really going to be using Ice Beam for that. We're really using that for Landorus. But taking an Oko on a Dynamax Landorus is absolutely huge this format because Lando-T is a top 3 Pokemon currently. And Ice Beam just does that so well. And it's just really, really powerful. And then for the last move, I just went for Protect. Protect is really good. This could be like Nasty Plot if you want to. Using Follow Me and Didio on the side and then going for a Nasty Plot could be really good. Something we kind of see in like Moltres or even Rotoms. So that's a good option, but I just went for Protect. It's just easy, standard, and you know what it's doing. It's just good. You can also like stall out Dynamax turns a little bit better. Go for a Protect on turn 1. Not take that much damage, and then max it, and it's a good time. You outlive your opponent's max, and that could be good. So I just like Protect, but like I said, Nasty Plot's very good. As far as some customizing goes, we have things like Psystrike, like I said, over the Expanding Force, and Nasty Plot over the Protect. But you also have a plethora of really good coverage moves. We have things like Flamethrower that can hit the Zacian really hard, Shadow Ball that can hit Ghost Pokemon really hard, Focus Blast that can hit Zacian or the Dark Pokemon really hard, Thunderbolt, Ancient Power, and Energy just for random coverage that you can get on this Pokemon. It's really interesting that it gets such a good, deep move pool for coverage, so you really can use any of these moves if you want to. And if you're going to go for an Assault Vest, you have to go for one of these moves over Protect. Probably Flamethrower for the Zacian, but you also do have things like Shadow Ball, the Focus Blast, all the other moves that I mentioned, and it's good. You also have Aura Sphere over Focus Blast if you want to go for that. It takes a little bit less BP when you're Dynamaxing, but it's not a trash move on the ground, because Focus Blast is just going to miss all the time. It has really, really low accuracy. So yeah, that's about it for the customization and the moveset of this Pokemon. I know it's incredibly standard, but you have a lot of customizable things. But this is the most standard it could be, probably. Life Orb and those 4 moves and that spread. It's probably about as standard as it can get. But I think it's good, and I wouldn't really want to change it from the norm for this Mewtwo, so I just went for it. As far as the synergetic Pokemon go, we have Indeedee here. Indeedee female, preferably, just because it has that Follow Me, which is very good, and it also goes for double Expanding Force. The male can do that too. I'd probably go for like a Choice Scarf or a Focus Sash Indeedee, and then Mewtwo and Life Orb. So, and potentially Nasty Plot instead of the Protect if you're going for Follow Me, because you can just sit there, Nasty Plot up while the Indeedee takes a hit, and then you have a hugely powerful Mewtwo, which is good. Although that does die to speed control, because if your opponent is then faster than Mewtwo, even if you Dynamax, it's probably going down even with the +2 attack, which is a little unfortunate, but yeah, just be careful of that. Speaking of speed control, the second synergetic Pokemon we have here is going to be Whimsicott or Tornadus, whichever one you really want. It's really just for that Prankster Tailwind, which is going to be very, very strong for Mewtwo as a Dynamax sweeper. Being able to hit things like the Zacian before it even gets to move if you go for a Flamethrower or a Focus Blast, probably Flamethrower. But that's just really, really useful. So, yeah, Priority Tailwind's good. As far as things that take out Zacian, Zacian is the worst matchup. We also have Dark Urshifu and Veltal and Galarian Moltres as really, really bad matchups for Mewtwo. So definitely have something that can take out those good Dark Pokemon, some kind of good option on your team. You could even go for an Urshifu of your own with Close Combat, because that could be good. You have Hurricane, which is good, a Max Airstream, into the Urshifu, which is good, and then maybe like Fake Out on your Incineroar to hit it first, to knock off the Focus Sash, so that's really good as well. So you have a couple of different options there. As far as the Incineroar goes, or as far as the Zacian goes, Incineroar is a great option, being able to remove its +1 from its Intrepid Sword right off the bat with an Intimidate, while also having Flare Blitz to do a lot of good damage to it, and it doesn't really have any coverage to take out Incineroar that well, so that is good. And then also Zacian's Bane of the Existence right now, is that how that phrase is said? Probably not. The best thing for Zacian right now is Sun, so adding Torkoal Venusaur on the Mewtwo team could be really, really good. So that's just a couple of options there that can, beat your bad matchups, which is really, really important in this format. Also, Regieleki deals pretty well with those dark flying Pokemon like Yveltal and the Galarian Moltres, so that's another good option. You could even set it up with screens or electro webs for, damage reduction or even speed control. So you have a lot of different options there. Mewtwo is pretty flexible, really only needing to be the one Pokemon on the team and then wanting one or two more, supportive roles, so you can really make like the team your own, which is really cool with this Pokemon. Anyway, enough about the moveset and stuff. Let's go ahead and move on to speed tiers. Like I said, it is a very competent Pokemon as far as speed tiers go. It is on the same speed tier as Crobat and Tapu Koko at 200, which is incredibly fast in the format. A lot of our Pokemon are in that 160 to 200 range in the format, so it's really top heavy, but the Mewtwo is pretty high up on that, which is good. You only are outsped by a couple of Pokemon, and most of them need Scarf or Chlorophyll or some kind of weather buff to even outspeed it. The only one is really Dragapult that doesn't need some kind of supplementation, one of those words. So yeah, that's cool. You are getting outsped by Dracovish at Scarf, Kyogre, Groudon at Scarf, probably Kyogre, Lando T at Scarf, which isn't really that common in this format, and of course the weather Pokemon, the Venusaur at Chlorophyll. You have the water, the Swift Swimmers, you got the Sand Rush, Excadrill. All those Pokemon are going to be outspeeding it as well in their correct weather, but what okay, they all outspeed everything. Good job, guys. Anyway, it is outspeeding a lot of good Pokemon, though, so we are, pretty top-heavy, like I said. Outspeeding things like Whimsicott and Cinderace, so it should be reversed. I don't know what. Oh well. Thundurus, Kartana, Nihilego, Garchomp, Charizard, Charmander, even. A whole lot of really good Pokemon in that 150 to 200 range. It's very, very, very filled up in there. So outspeeding those with the Mewtwo's, it's good. It's good. Anyway, that's it for speed tiers. Let's go ahead and talk about some damage calcs. So first off, we have a lot of damaging ones. And I forgot the things here for this one, but rest assured that is Life Orb Dynamax. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and talk about the offensive ones first off. So we have Special Attack Life Orb Mewtwo Max Mindstorm into a 4 HP Dynamaxed Venusaur, which is pretty common. We are hitting 105 to 125%, which is guaranteed OHKO. Very, very strong damage calc to have. Taking that guy out. That guy is really used right now. Actually, it is a top 20, top 30 Pokemon, probably. Just really good against the Zacian that we have. Very common in the format. So being able to take out Venusaur is pretty good. Next, we have Mewtwo's Max Hailstorm with, Max Special Attack and Life Orb. Into a 4 HP Dynamax Lando T, hitting 159 to 187, which is a guaranteed OHKO. Super good calc there. Even if it has some bulk, taking it out, easy peasy, no problem there. Taking it out, easy peasy, no problem there. Double for emphasis. Next, we have 252 Special Attacking Life Orb Mewtwo Max Airstream into our 220 HP, 28 Special Defense, which currently is the most used spread on Pikalytics. Assault Vest Rillaboom hitting 98.5 to 116.7, which is a 93.8% chance to OHKO. Very, very good. Still a roll, but a very, very good calc nonetheless. A lot of the time, that'll also just be like 252 HP and not really much special defense. So, regardless there, we're doing a lot of damage. Probably OHKOing, but a lot of damage nonetheless. Next, we have our Mewtwo Max Airstream into a 4 HP non-Dynamax Urshifu single strike. Hitting 200%. This thing's dead. It's super dead, even if a Dynamax is dead. But the problem is, it's typically Focus Sash, so its return will be really powerful. And that's our next damage calc. We have 252 Attack Choice Band Urshifu Single Strike Wicked Blow into Mewtwo, hitting 92.8 to 109.3, which is a 56.3% chance to OHKO. Now notice that is with the Choice Band. So if it is not Choice Band, if it's Focus Sash, we're taking it out. And Focus Sash Urshifu Single Strike doesn't have a chance at OHKOing Mewtwo. So this is actually not the worst matchup ever. It's not favorable, but it's not bad because Max Airstream just takes it out. So that's really cool. Next, we have +1 from Intrepid Sword, 252 Attack, Zacian Crown Behemoth Blade, doubling its damage because we are going to be Dynamaxed, into our 4 HP Dynamaxed Mewtwo, hitting 93.9 to 110%, which is a 62.5% chance to OHKO. This is a huge, huge amount of damage, but it's still a roll, and actually, I mean, obviously, it's a little bit in favor of OHKOing because it's a 62.5, but that's not actually too bad. And you do have the fact that you bring in an Incineroar, Intimidate it. Now it's not going to have the +1. It has 0 chance to OHKO. Very good damage calc, actually. I mean, obviously, without that, it probably OHKOs. But it's still, like, good to know that you cannot die immediately to Zacian, which is cool. Anyway, that's it for the damage calcs. Let's talk about single spotlight real quick before I end the video. And I'm going to do it very briefly because it's not very different. Mewtwo, Life Orb, Dynamax, and Guy. You have Unnerve. You could go Pressure. I mean, I don't think it really matters that much because berries aren't used that frequently in singles, but still, Unnerve probably better. We have Psystrike, Nasty Plot, Ice Beam, and Focus Blast. This is going to be another Dynamax Pokemon that just Dynamax and sweeps, and it's a good time. You have Nasty Plot, go +2, and when they're switching around, and then you just hit Psystrike, Ice Beam, and Focus Blast. Your opponent's going to be like, oh, he's going to Psystrike me. Switch into my Dark Man, and then your Nasty Plot, and you're like, hey, and they're like, okay, I'll still kill you, and then you go Focus Blast, and they don't have a great time. Or, Max Punch him. Max Punch is pretty good. Nothing really changed here in the EV department. In fact, the 4 in defense probably should just go into HP here because we're gonna Dynamax it anyway. But oh well, time goes on. Anyway, that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. It really makes a huge difference. It really does. I mean, only like 20% of people that watch my videos are subscribed. Like 15%, I think. So subscribe. Have a great weekend. I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.